Welcome back to the channel, where today is Tuesday, November 15th, 2022. I really hope that your day is going great. I just finished a video about Anna Duggar wearing jeans around the Duggars, and it made me think. A lot of the time, especially lately, it feels like I'm leading this double life here on the channel. On one hand, we have the IBLP crowd. On the other, we have the polygamous families. And while they might look really different on the surface, their belief systems actually share a lot in common. The biggest similarity? Both tend to treat women less like partners and more like property. The details may differ in that one group believes in having multiple wives and the other does not, but the feeling of control and lack of balance is something very similar. Honestly, the videos I've been doing lately about the Duggars have made me rather heavy of late. You know, with everything that's come out about Josh and everything I've learned on the way about Anna and what was really going on behind the scenes, it's hard not to feel weighed down by it. I've spoken with so many people and uncovered so many details that it makes it difficult to approach it as simple gossip anymore. This is real pain, real damage. What makes it even more difficult is that so few of these women actually leave. That's why I've been so impressed with Ginger. The fact that she's writing a book, that she's finding her voice, will definitely be covering that here. Really matters. It takes courage to step away from a belief system you were raised in, especially one that's been reinforced generation after generation. And that's also why I've been enjoying covering sister wives lately. There's something powerful happening there. After years, decades really, of living in a deeply restrictive and oppressive environment, we're finally seeing some of these women begin to break free. They're questioning the beliefs they were raised to have. They're pushing back against the brainwashing. They're doing the hard work of deconstructing what they were taught to accept without question. For the first time, they're realizing they don't actually need Kody. They're seeing their own worth. They're understanding that they deserved more than what they were given all those years. And to watch that kind of an awakening, it's emotional, it's frustrating at times, but it's also incredibly hopeful. What they're starting to realize is that they were lied to, that this whole setup, this whole promise, was never what it was made out to be. And honestly, that's why covering sister wives has brought me a little bit of joy lately. For once, this kind of story doesn't just feel heavy, it feels hopeful. Seriously, anytime I see someone break free from the chains of repression, it genuinely chokes me up. And we're going to celebrate that here when it happens. Today, we are talking about Janelle Brown.
Now, Janelle's big secret quietly came out last week. That's when Gwendolyn Brown Christine and Kody's third daughter went live on TikTok with her best friend Sarah. During that live, she pretty much confirmed what many of us already suspected. Janelle has left Kody. Up until now, Janelle herself hasn't made a public statement. There have been signs for a while that she and Kody were no longer together, but nothing had been officially confirmed. Well, now, a source has spoken to The Sun about the situation, and they're shedding some light on what's really going on. So let's take a closer look at what's being said. But before I get into all that, let me just ask you one thing. If you believe in female empowerment, if you believe in women breaking generational cycles, and in choosing freedom, do me a quick favor and give this video a thumbs up. I mean, if there are even 10,000 of you out there who think that women breaking free is something worth celebrating, that would be amazing. And honestly, who's not on board with that? We all want women to be happy. I know I do. And one more quick thing before we continue. We just hit 283,000 subscribers today, and I want to say a huge thank you. That means so much. If you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to ring the bell and set your notifications to all so you don't miss anything. And if you have thoughts or opinions about what we're talking about today, I'd love to hear them. Drop a comment down below. All right, now let's get into it. Gwendolyn was the first to spill Janelle Brown's secret. By the way, Gwendolyn's Patreon has already grown to about 5,000 members, which is pretty incredible. I've been spending some time over there myself, and I gotta say, I'm really enjoying it. I'm not going to repeat what's being shared there, but if you're interested in some behind-the-scenes insight, I do encourage you to check it out and show her some support. She really is a sweetheart. She's funny, a little goofy in the best way, and we honestly don't get to see much of her true personality on the show. Seeing that side of her on Patreon has been a real treat. So yes, Gwendolyn might have been the one who let the secret slip, but now we're starting to get confirmation from inside the camp that this is in fact true. Let's take a look at what's being reported. According to an article from The Sun, the headline goes like this: Letting go. Sister wives Janelle Brown had no reason to leave husband Kody, but was pushed by a key cast member to call it quits. Now, words like pushed, forced, and even ringleader are being used to describe this key cast member. And I want to pause right there, because language matters. If you have a friend who truly loves you, who deeply cares about your well-being, who sees you being mistreated, and who knows there's another path forward, one that includes peace and happiness, and that person has stood by you for 27 years, well, you're probably going to listen to them.
Most especially when that friend has been good to your children, earned your respect, and showed up for you throughout the years.
That's not manipulation, that's concern. So as we talk about this now, remember, Christine's not coming from the view of anger or even revenge, or even from Kody is an evil person. She's just coming from a place of love. The one thing I am going to find fault with concerning this article is the way it depicts Christine's actions as some bad thing. Personally, I think what Christine did could be one of the most caring things a friend could do for another friend, especially one who has been stuck in an unhealthy situation for far too long. That she loves, because Christine really loves Janelle that much. Their bond extends beyond being sister wives. They're best friends, the kind of friends who finish each other's sentences, who really see one another. That kind of connection means something. Now, according to this source, Christine was 100% the one who either helped or forced Janelle to leave Kody, and I have to push back on that. Janelle Brown is a strong, independent woman. She has never struck me as someone who can be forced into anything. What I do think is this: Christine empowered Janelle to see her own value. She showed her what was possible on the other side. She showed her that she was capable of standing on her 2 feet, that she didn't actually need Kody to survive her, and that to walk away wasn't some moral failure that would doom her forever. And honestly, that's a beautiful thing. Christine is a great friend. Further, the article continues that Janelle actually had no real reason to leave until Christine brought it up with her. I could not disagree with this statement more. Indeed, Janelle admitted earlier this past week that both Kody and Robyn were benefiting from her finances. Still, she discussed how her finances were used for the down payment on their mansion and how she is left with little else. Kody has been extremely insensitive about Janelle's situation concerning her place of residence. They don't partner well, Kody said. But we also can't forget they did a tell-all last year, and Kody came out and said point blank that he is not in love with her. That is message enough from him alone not to be in love with Janelle or anyone else. In fact, she had every reason to leave the show. Perhaps she stayed because it was easier that way. Perhaps she was comfortable there. Perhaps she did not want to rock the boat. My guess would be that she has always struck me as a person who was content with what she had and did not want to overthink things or stir up a problem when there wasn't one. Perhaps Christine did not formulate the justifications either. Perhaps she just allowed Janelle to see them clearly.
She opened her eyes to it. That's what happened here, in my opinion. The separation between Janelle and Kody has been in the making for a year or even 2, around the time of COVID, according to the source. To be blunt, this makes a lot of sense. With COVID, there was distance, and this distance brought something to the family that they had not had access to in the past, that of space. Space to think, space to breathe, and space to find that they could, in fact, handle everything on their own. The reason Christine was a ringleader, according to this source, was that she was showing these other women that they didn't need Kody with complete confidence. Again, not a phrase that resonates with me as a description of Christine's actions. However, it is clear she was a leader through example. Christine showed that after walking away from a situation, life goes on. The final straw was when things finally stopped working in late spring, either in May or June, at the beginning of summer. That's when everything fell apart between Janelle and Kody. As far as I am concerned, the central question is crystal clear. It was about Janelle's kids. Kody was not treating her children well, particularly her sons. Kody has now started talking very harshly and disrespectfully to Garrison and to Gabriel, both of whom Janelle loves dearly. Kody asked them to leave the home. Kody has also started calling them narcissists and using other derogatory terms for them. But Janelle was left with the impossible decision. Kody was really telling her, "Leave your boys and I'll come back." But a real mom always does what's best for her kids, and Janelle chose her kids. She picked her sons, she picked her family, she picked her dogs. That is when she decided to purchase an RV and make it clear that she had priorities. I think it's because she could see the way Kody treated his children and his complete lack of interest in Savannah that made her finally see things for what they were. And to be perfectly frank, I think COVID was an eye-opening experience for many families. Separation is always difficult, but it can also be revealing. The simple fact is, when you move away from a toxic dynamic and suddenly have space to think, you discover something very important. I can live without this. I know that is exactly what happened in my situation as well, and I believe that time allowed Janelle to realize that as well. It might not be easy, but it is possible. And once you realize that, it's pretty empowering. I mean, that's just what I think went down here. These women got to the point where they're like, you know what? I can do without Kody. And now that that seed is planted, there is no turning back. I mean, honestly, who needs Kody? The source continued. So Janelle isn't referring to herself as one of Kody's wives anymore. Janelle does not see herself in a relationship with Kody anymore in terms of being a wife. To Janelle, it's done.
They also stated that Janelle never intended to walk out on the commitment she made to Kody. This was not her plan at all. However, with COVID, everything changed. When you see your kids losing their relationship with their parent, you have no choice but to choose. Janelle chose her kids. Her support system is not Kody, and quite frankly, it never was, Mary writes in her blog. Her kids have always been her foundation. The source continued, the number one reason for this split is that Kim wanted a divorce because she has kids of her own and wanted to raise them herself. The kids were a massive part of this decision. Kim is very close with Christine, who has essentially helped raise them, and this means a great deal. And this is all just all too familiar, isn't it? It also reminds me of Christine's situation. Christine has already said that her daughters have been a huge part of her reason for leaving. They told her, "You deserve better. We just want you to be happy." She credits them with giving her the strength to leave. And then when his daughters from his current relationship with Christine, Aspen, Mykelti, and Isabel, are asked to be interviewed, they have all been very blunt. They are satisfied with their mother, and they are glad that she is no longer with their father. So I don't find it one bit surprising that Janelle's kids would do the same thing, says Anne-Marie Nieves, a mother of 3 children ages 2 to 8 and a media commentator. Honey, she mainly has boy children. She has 4 sons and 2 girls, and it seems like she has kids who would completely come out and support their mother. The kind of guys who aren't going to let their mother be disrespected. They want their father to treat her well, or at least to treat her well. And I think as Janelle's boys became older, there naturally was competition between Kody. You know, in polygamous families, boys are often competition for one another because they may marry the same women in the long run. Very few of these guys actually become polygamous, so most of them are often left aside. But Janelle's boys got a peek at the real world. They saw what life could be outside the hard boundaries of the sect and came to an important realization. Mom, you deserve better than this. And when Kody starts blaming Christine for the kids turning on him, I think it's clear that the kids simply saw the truth. Dad could be better, and Mom deserved an awful lot more than she got. Where Janelle and Christine are concerned, they are clearly teaming up for mutual support. But what impresses me is that you can hear exactly who is speaking to the son from Kody's point of view. They call it a hardcore power trip, like their enjoyment of their lives is something they are fighting against.
But let's give them the truth. They're not on a power trip. They're having fun. They're embracing their newfound independence. They're realizing they can live life without living up to Kody's strict standards. That's according to a family insider speaking with The Sun. Mary, on the other hand, would never openly confess it. So from the source, she still attends because she has a contract to honor, a source said. That's the sole reason why she continues to join. Nothing more, nothing less. Mary's been sticking around just for the contract. This is where her paycheck comes from. She's not waiting on Kody, and honestly, she probably never will. So yes, Mary is still showing up to the show, but that's about it. Surprised? Probably not. Well, now, you shouldn't hold your breath waiting for Janelle to say too much about this. It's just not her way. She wouldn't be the type to address this in the press. If she did comment on the issue, she would more or less shrug her shoulders with statements like, "Can't control her. That's her choice." It wouldn't surprise the insider that she has already spoke up, that Janelle is not the type of woman to address the issue. I'll tell you this, TLC is definitely attempting to contain the leaks of this information. There were a lot of Gwendolyn's videos being posted in official Facebook groups, with posts being taken down for being a leak. Articles about Gwendolyn's involvement, which pointed back to her TikTok videos, also started being taken down in InTouch. Looking at sources such as InTouch, which have great information that isn't seen anywhere else until the episode airs, everything about Gwendolyn's involvement appears to have been taken down. This isn't being covered in any of the major sites. So yes, the 900 Numbers producers are definitely trying to keep this one under wraps, though perhaps with a nod toward reality here. This isn't a storyline, but reality. This isn't a reveal. This actually happens in life. This isn't reality TV. This is life. This isn't a spectacle. This is a reality of life. This isn't a sitcom. This is reality. This isn't a comedy. This is reality. This isn't a costume. This is reality. This isn't a fiction program of any sort, But what matters most in all this is that Janelle had someone in her corner named Christine. The influence of Christine was such that Janelle was able to make her decision about leaving her husband. She understood that Kody was no longer what she needed. She would be able to build a future without Kody. And honestly speaking, seeing such a thing happen makes for some inspiration.
One thing is certain, Janelle is destined to become the next scapegoat. As I have previously stated, the target is on her back. We will surely witness many conflicts between her, or most likely her and Christine, in the upcoming days. Much of this is due to her loyalty to Christine, but let's not forget one important fact. Janelle is also very loyal to her kids. She chose her kids, and Christine showed her that there was another way, that there was another path to take. And let's be real, girl power all the way. I'm standing behind every woman out there who rises up one morning and takes control of their life. What are your thoughts on all this? Let us know in the comments below. Bye for now.